It was a cold evening on the small human colony world, and Mark, a single father, stood inside his small kitchen preparing dinner for his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. The warm smell of cooked rice and vegetables filled the air. Outside, soft wind pushed dust across the quiet street. Most homes had already closed their doors for the night. Mark placed 2 plates on the table and called out, "Lily, dinner is ready." The little girl ran happily to her seat. She was always excited for dinner time because it was the only moment of the day when her father sat with her, talked with her, and smiled after a long day of work. But tonight, something strange happened. Just as they began to eat, the house door made a small sound, a soft click. The door moved slightly, as if someone was pushing it from outside. Mark turned his head slowly. Standing in the doorway was a woman. But she was not human. She was thin, so thin that her bones showed clearly under her pale in the skin. Her long hair was messy, and her eyes were full of hunger, real hunger, painful hunger. She looked like she had not eaten for many days. She did not speak. She only looked at Lily's plate. Not at Mark, not at the room, only the plate. Lily froze. Mark felt something cold move down his spine. He knew this woman was desperate, but she did not step inside. She did not ask for help. She did not beg for food. She only stared silently, breathing heavily, as if she was trying to control herself. Then she stepped back, very slowly, as if she was afraid of being noticed, and she whispered, almost too soft to hear, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to look." She lowered her head and turned away, trying to walk off into the dark street. She wanted to disappear. Mark stood up quickly. Something inside him would not let this woman just walk away like this. "Wait," he called out, but his voice was gentle. "Please, wait." The woman stopped. Her whole body became stiff, like someone had grabbed her from behind. But she did not turn around. She didn't move at all. Mark slowly walked toward the door. Up close he could see more clearly. Her arms were shaking. Her lips were dry and cracked. There were bruises on her wrists, and the edges of her clothes were torn. She looked like someone who survived something terrible. "You look hungry," Mark said carefully. "Please come inside. It's cold out there." She shook her head slowly. "No, I must not. I shouldn't be here. They will punish me if I am seen." This made Mark stop. They? Who are they? He did not know. But the fear in her voice was real. Lily suddenly stood up from the table and walked to her father's side. She held a small piece of bread in her tiny hand and looked up at the strange woman. "Miss, do you want this?" Lily asked softly. The alien woman gasped like the offer hurt her. She stared at the bread with wide, shocked eyes. Her throat moved as she swallowed, but she still whispered, "I can't. I'm not allowed." Lily stepped closer and held the bread out again. "It's okay. You can take it." For a moment, the world stood still. The woman slowly reached out her shaking hand and touched the bread like it was something holy. She brought it to her lips and took the smallest bite. Her eyes filled with tears instantly. A single tear rolled down her cheek as she tasted food again. "Thank you," she breathed. "Thank you, child." Mark watched the moment with a heavy heart. This was not just hunger. This was deep suffering. Something bad happened to this woman. Something that broke her spirit. When she finished the bread, she stepped back again. "I should leave now," she whispered. "Please forget I came. Please pretend you never saw me." She turned toward the dark street. But Mark could not let her go. Not after seeing the fear in her voice and the sadness in her eyes. "Wait," he said again, stronger this time. "At least tell me your name." She stopped. Her shoulders shook. Then she said quietly, "My name is Tira." And with that one name, the real story began. Tira stood just outside the doorway, half covered in shadows, unsure whether to walk away or collapse on the spot. Her body trembled not from the cold breeze, but from fear that lived deep inside her. Every movement she made looked careful, as if she expected someone to attack her at any moment. Mark stepped closer but kept his hands raised, showing he meant no harm. "Please," he said softly, "you don't have to run away." Tira shook her head. "You do not understand. Humans do not understand." Her voice sounded tired, almost broken. Lily held onto Mark's leg, her eyes watching Tira with a mix of curiosity and worry. The child felt something strange. This woman was scared, but she wasn't dangerous. She looked more like a frightened animal trying to survive. Mark took a breath. "Come inside, only for a moment. You look hurt." Tira hesitated. She glanced down the street, searching every dark corner like she expected someone to jump out. Only when she felt no immediate danger did she slowly step into the house. She kept her arms close to her chest, like she was protecting herself from invisible hands. Inside the warm light, her weakness became even more visible. Her legs struggled to hold her weight, and she leaned against the wall for balance. Lily hurried to the table and picked up a small bowl. "You can eat more if you want," she said in her innocent, soft voice. Tira's eyes widened again, filled with disbelief. You would give food to me?" Her voice trembled as if the idea itself was unbelievable. Mark pulled out a chair. "Sit, rest. No one is going to hurt you here." Slowly, Tira sat down. She held the bowl with both hands like she was scared someone might snatch it away. When she lifted a spoon to her mouth, her entire body relaxed for a moment. But only for a moment. She kept turning her head toward the door, like a hunted creature. Mark noticed the bruises on her wrists, thin rings that looked like they came from tight metal cuffs. He also saw a faint cut across her cheek, and her ribs were visible through her clothes. "Did someone do this to you?" he asked quietly. Tira instantly flinched. The spoon fell from her hand and hit the table with a small clink. Her breathing became fast, her hands shaking again. "No," she whispered too quickly, too nervously. "No one hurt me. I fell. I'm clumsy." She was lying. And badly. Mark exchanged a glance with Lily, who looked confused and sad. Mark sat down across from Tira. "We don't want to force you to talk, but you are safe here." Tira looked up, her eyes shining with fear. "Safe?" She repeated slowly, as if the word was foreign to her. "No one is safe from them." "Who are they?" Mark asked gently. Tira froze. Her lips parted slightly, but no sound came out. Her eyes filled with panic again. Whatever she was hiding, it was big and dangerous. She whispered, "I can't say. If I speak their name, they will find me." A shiver ran through Mark. Lily stepped closer and touched Tira's arm softly. Tira looked at Lily with heartbreak in her eyes. "You should not be near me, little one. I bring trouble. People like me. We are not supposed to enter homes." "Why?" Lily asked. Tira's voice dropped to a whisper. "Because we belong to them." Mark felt his heart tighten. He had heard rumors in the colony, rumors of alien groups owning laborers, treating them like tools. But he never thought he would meet one of those victims at his own door. Before he could ask anything else, Tira slowly lifted her left sleeve. Under the torn cloth was a mark burned into her skin, a symbol. Dark, ugly, and painful looking, a brand. Lily gasped. Mark's jaw tightened with anger. Tira pulled her sleeve back down quickly. "Please, don't tell anyone you saw that. If they know I showed it, they will punish me harder." "They?" Mark repeated. "Tira, who are they? Who is doing this to you?" Tira closed her eyes. A tear slipped down her cheek. "Powerful people, rich people. People who see my kind as nothing. They took everything from me. My freedom, my home. Her voice broke. Mark leaned forward. "You're..." "What?" Suddenly she stood up, shaking her head violently. "No, I cannot. I must leave before they come." They always find me when I am still for too long. Mark moved to block the door gently. Tira, please. At least tell me where you came from. Tira's face twisted in pain. If I speak, they will know. How would they know? Mark asked that her answer chilled him. Because they monitor. US, they track our voices. They watch our movements. They never let us be free. Mark stared at her, realizing her suffering was far deeper than he thought. And this was only the beginning. Tira stood in the middle of the small kitchen, breathing fast, her eyes wide like a trapped animal. She looked around the room again and again, as if invisible enemies might burst through the walls. Mark could see that she was close to collapsing. From fear more than hunger, Dottie took a slow step toward her. Tira, please, no one will hurt you here. Her lips trembled. You don't know them. They always find us, Mark frowned. Who are they? The ones you keep talking about? Tira hugged her arms around her thin body. I cannot say not even their name. They have ways of hearing. They always know. Her voice dropped into a whisper so soft Mark had to lean closer to hear. Lily, standing beside her father, asked softly, Did they hurt you? Tira froze completely. Her throat tightened, and her eyes filled with tears she tried to hide. She opened her mouth, but only silence came out. Then she slowly sank into the chair again, as if her legs could no longer hold her. Mark noticed that every question about her past made her break a little more. She was hiding something huge, something painful, something that controlled her. Every thought. He sat across from her. Tira, we just want to help you. She looked at him sharply. Help me. If you help me, you will suffer. Your child will suffer. My kind does not bring blessings, only trouble. Mark shook his head firmly. Lily and I decide what trouble we accept. Not them. Those words seemed to shake her deeply. She stared at him with disbelief, as if no one had ever spoken to her like that before. Lily walked over and gently placed a blanket on Tira's shoulders. You are cold. Tira touched the blanket with trembling fingers. Why? She whispered. Why are you humans so kind? Mark didn't know how to answer that. He just said, because everyone deserves kindness. But Tira shook her head. Not me. A silence filled the room. Her walls began to crack after a long moment. Tira finally spoke again, her voice low and shaking. I ran from them. Months ago, I escaped their camp. She paused, pressing her hands together tightly. They did. Not like that. Mark leaned forward. What camp? Were you a prisoner? Tira looked away. Worse, much worse. She lifted her sleeve again, revealing the burned mark, the brand. Mark felt anger boil inside him. They marked you like this? He asked. Tira nodded slowly. They brand the ones they own. They keep us in lines. We work until we fall. If we cry, they beat us. If we slow down, they punish us. If we run, they hunt us. Hunt? Lily whispered. Tira nodded again, her voice breaking. Yes, hunt. Like animals. Mark clenched his jaw. His hands formed fists. Whoever these aliens were, they were monsters. Tira wiped her tears, but they kept coming. When I escaped, I thought I was free. But they have trackers. Machines that follow our voices. If I speak too much, if I say their name, the signal reaches them. They come. Mark felt a chill run down his spine. Her fear wasn't madness. It was memory. The thing she is hiding, Mark asked gently. Tira, why were you staring at my daughter's plate? Why did that make you cry? Tira's entire body stiffened again. Her breath hitched. Her hand shook so violently she dropped the blanket. Mark realized instantly. This question touched something deeper. Something she never wanted to say. She pressed her hands against her face. I cannot, her voice cracked. I cannot tell. You? Why? Mark asked softly. Her answer came out in choked breaths. Because it hurts too much. Lily walked closer. You can tell us. It's okay. Tira's eyes filled completely with tears. Her voice broke into tiny pieces. "I had a child," she whispered. Mark's heart dropped. "A little one," she continued. "She was small, sick, hungry. I tried to save her. I stole scraps of food from the camp kitchen. I hid them under my clothes. I risked my life for every piece." She paused, shaking violently. But it wasn't enough. Lily covered her mouth with her hands. Mark felt pain in his chest. Tira whispered, "She died in my arms, starving, cold, calling for me." She closed her eyes, tears falling fast. "They took her body away. They didn't let me bury her." Mark felt sick, horrified. Tira continued, her voice trembling. "Ever since, whenever I see a child's plate, I remember her. I remember watching her fade away because I couldn't feed her." Now Mark understood everything. The fear, the panic, the way she stared at Lily's food. She wasn't being greedy. She wasn't trying to steal. She was remembering her baby Dot. She whispered, "That is why I tried to leave your house quickly. If I stayed, I would break apart, and you would see my pain." Mark reached out slowly and placed his hand gently on hers. "You're not alone anymore, Tira." For the first time, she didn't pull her hand away, but outside the window, a shadow moved. Someone was watching, and the danger she feared was closer than she knew. The night grew darker outside Mark's house. The wind pushed dust across the empty road, and faint lights flickered in the distance. Inside, the warm glow of the kitchen made Tira feel slightly safer. But only slightly. She kept looking toward the window every few seconds, as if she could sense danger moving closer. Mark noticed it. "Tira, do you feel something?" She swallowed hard. "They always come. They always follow. I ran far, but not far enough." Before Mark could ask anything else, thud, thud, someone knocked on the door. Not a normal knock. A heavy, angry knock. A knock meant to scare. Lily ran behind her father, grabbing his shirt tightly. Mark stepped forward with caution, his heart beating fast. Tira went completely still. Her eyes widened with pure terror. "No," she whispered. "They found me." Mark looked through the small window beside the door, and his body tensed. 3 tall alien men stood outside. Their skin was a darker shade than Tira's. Their eyes were sharp and cold. They wore dark armor with glowing symbols. One of them held a scanning device. Another had a long metal staff strapped to his back. They looked like soldiers, but not the good kind. They looked like hunters. Mark whispered to Tira, "Go into the back room, now." But Tira shook her head wildly. "If they see you hiding me, they will take your daughter. They do not care who they hurt. They think humans are weak." Mark clenched his jaw. "I'm not letting them take anyone." The knocking grew louder. "Open the door, human." A deep voice shouted. Mark pushed Tira gently toward the hallway. "Go, hide behind the storage crates. I will deal with them." Tira didn't move. She was trembling too much. Lily stepped forward, grabbed Tira's hand, and whispered, "Come with me." Tira stared at the little girl, then followed her into the back. Mark took a deep breath, straightened his shoulders, and opened the door. The confrontation begins. The tallest alien stepped forward immediately. His expression was filled with arrogance and disgust. "You," he growled, "human male, we are searching for runaway property. A female of our clan, small, weak, useless. She escaped." Mark's stomach twisted. Property. They called her property. A second alien pulled out a hologram. Tira's image glowed in the air, her face bruised, eyes empty, clothes torn. "We know she passed through this street," the alien said. "We track her by scent and movement. She must be taken back." Mark forced his face to stay calm. "I haven't seen anyone." The lead alien leaned closer, staring into Mark's eyes. "Do not lie to us. We own her. If she is here, you will hand her over. Mark did not blink. I said I haven't seen anyone. The alien smirked. Humans are terrible liars. He pushed past Mark to step inside, but Mark blocked his way, standing firm like a wall. You cannot enter without permission. The alien laughed a cruel, mocking sound. Permission? You think your little human rules matter to us? The second alien stepped forward. We have authority. We can search any home we want. No, Mark said again louder. Not this. One. The lead alien leaned down, his face inches from Mark's. His breath smelled like metal and blood. Move. Or suffer, he whispered. Tira hears everything in the back room. Tira heard the voices. She covered her mouth to stop herself from crying out. Lily sat beside her, holding her hand. Her body shook violently as she whispered, They will hurt him. They will take me. They will take his child too. They always punish anyone who helps us. Lily squeezed her hand harder. My dad won't let them. Tira felt tears fill her eyes. She had never seen anyone stand up to her hunters before. Mark stands his ground back at the door. Mark did not move an inch. You are not searching my home, he said firmly. The alien's eyes flashed with anger. Why does a weak father think he can stop us? Because this weak father protects his family. For a moment, the aliens stalled. They did not expect resistance. Then something changed the lead alien's face. Twisted with rage, he reached for the weapon on his belt. Mark braced himself, but suddenly the scanning device in the other alien's hand beeped loudly. It detected her, the alien said. Inside this house. Mark's heart dropped. The lead alien grinned. So you did lie. He pushed Mark aside with a powerful shove. Mark hit the wall hard but stayed on his feet. We will take her now, the alien growled. Mark stood back in their path. You're not taking anyone. The alien raised his weapon, and in that moment, from the hallway, a shaky voice whispered, Stop. Everyone turned. Tira stood there, her body weak, her hands raised, her eyes full of fear and tears. She stepped forward slowly, for the sake of the child. I surrender, she whispered. Mark's heart cracked. Lily gasped. And the alien smiled victorious smiles. But this fight was far from over. The room fell silent when Tira stepped out of the hallway. Her thin body shook like a leaf in a storm. Her eyes were full of fear, but there was something else hiding inside them, an old sadness that had been living in her heart for too long. Mark stared at her in shock. Tira, what are you doing? She did not look at him. Her eyes stayed on the aliens, on the monsters who once owned her life. I surrender, she whispered softly. Please, just leave the child alone. The lead alien smirked with cruel delight. Good girl, you finally understand your place. Lily ran forward, tears filling her eyes. No, don't take her. Mark held Lily back gently, his jaw clenched with fury. He wanted to punch the alien, drive him out, protect Tira, but the weapon in the alien's hand was glowing brighter now, humming with dangerous energy. One wrong move could put Lily in danger. Tira raised her hands higher, forcing a painful smile toward Lily. It is okay, little one. You and your father have been kind. But kindness brings punishment. I will go, so no one harms you. Those words hit Mark like a knife. The alien stepped forward to grab her, but Tira suddenly took a small step backward. Before you take me, she said, her voice trembling, let me speak one last truth. To the humans who fed me. The aliens growled, you have no rights to speak. But Mark raised his hand. Let her speak. The aliens hesitated. Humans weren't supposed to give orders to them. But Mark's eyes were locked with theirs, cold, unafraid, burning with anger. For a moment, even they didn't know what to do. Tira took a shaky breath. Then she turned toward Mark and Lily. When I saw your daughter's plate, she began, I was not hungry for myself. Lily wiped her tears. Then why did you look so sad? Tira's voice cracked. Because it reminded me of my baby. Mark's heart froze. My little girl, Tira continued, her lips trembling. She was so small, so weak. She looked like your daughter. The same innocent eyes, but I could never give her food like this. Her hands shook violently. Every day I searched for scraps, even the smallest piece of bread. But I was always watched, always punished if I took anything. She pressed a hand to her chest, as if trying to stop the pain from escaping. One day, she became too hungry, too thin. I held her in my arms, and she cried for me. Her voice dropped to a whisper, broken and raw. And then she stopped crying. Lily gasped softly. Mark's throat tightened. They took her away from me, Tira said, tears falling freely now. They did not let me bury her. They did not let me say goodbye. They told me she was useless, a waste. The aliens rolled their eyes, bored and annoyed. She speaks too much, one growled. Tira ignored them. Her gaze remained on Lily and Mark. So when I looked at your daughter's plate, she whispered, I saw the food my child never had. I saw the life she never lived. She hugged herself tightly. The pain was too much. That is why I tried to leave your house. I did not want you to see me break. Lily burst into tears and ran to Tira, hugging her legs tightly. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry your baby died. Tira knelt down and hugged her back gently, her hands shaking. It is not your fault, little one. You reminded me that there is still kindness in this world. The lead alien suddenly stepped forward and grabbed Tira by the arm. She winced in pain. That is enough, he snarled. This creature belongs to us. Mark moved instantly, grabbing the alien's wrist. Let her go. The alien shoved him backward with surprising strength. Mark stumbled but didn't fall. This is your last warning, human, the alien hissed. Interfere again. And we? Take the child. Mark's blood ran cold. His fists tightened helplessly. Tira shook her head at him, tears streaming. Please, do not fight. They will hurt her. They always hurt children to punish mothers. Mark's heart broke at those words. The alien pulled Tira toward the door. She didn't resist. She didn't scream. She didn't fight. She walked like someone who had already died once before. As they dragged her outside, Lily cried loudly, Tira! Don't go. Tira looked back, her eyes full of sorrow. Thank you for letting me feel human for one night. And then the door slammed shut behind her. The cold night swallowed Tira as the aliens dragged her outside. Her thin feet stumbled on the dusty ground, but she didn't resist. She kept looking back at Mark's door, at Lily crying inside. At the only home where she felt even a small piece of safety, the lead alien shoved her forward. Move. You caused enough trouble. Tira whispered, please. Don't harm them. They only gave me food. The alien laughed cruelly. You think we care about humans? If the father interferes again, we will take the child. Simple. Tira froze. Her eyes widened. No, leave the child out of this. But her voice got lost in their laughter. Inside the house, Lily sobbed into Mark's shirt. Dad, they're taking her. They'll hurt her. Mark held her tightly, his mind racing. He could hear the aliens' voices outside. His body burned with anger, pure anger. He had seen injustice before, but this was different. This was evil. He gently lifted Lily's face. Listen to me, sweetheart. I won't let anyone hurt you, and I won't let them take Tira. Lily sniffled, wiping her tears. But they have weapons. And they're big. Mark looked her straight in the eyes. I'm bigger in here. He touched his chest. My heart is bigger, that's enough. But he knew the danger was real. He couldn't face the aliens alone, not with Lily inside. He needed help. He needed time. Then he heard something outside, a scream. Tira's scream. Mark's heart stopped. Outside. A nightmare unfolds. The aliens pushed Tira toward a dark-powered transport vehicle. One of them grabbed her wrist roughly, reopening a wound. Blood dripped down her arm, but she said nothing. She only whispered, "Please, don't take me back. I will die there." The lead alien slapped her hard across the face. "Silence, slave." Mark burst through the door. "Let her go." All three aliens turned sharply, surprised that the human dared to come out again. Tira's eyes widened. "Nitrogen monoxide, Mark. Go back inside. They will hurt you." Mark didn't listen. His body moved on its own, fueled by rage and something even stronger. Protectiveness. The lead alien stepped forward. "You have courage, human. Or stupidity." Mark didn't back away. He stood tall, chest rising and falling, fists clenched hard. "Your kind has no right to take her," Mark said. "She's not property. She's a person." The alien smirked. "Our laws say otherwise." Mark took another step forward. "Then, your laws are wrong." The second alien shoved Tira into the vehicle. She cried out. The sound tore into Mark's heart. He lunged forward. The lead alien reacted instantly, pulling his weapon and pointing it at Mark's chest. Tira screamed, "No, don't hurt him." The alien jabbed the glowing weapon at Mark. "Last warning. Go inside, human, or we make the child pay." Mark's breath caught. His muscles froze. And for a moment, the alley went quiet. Tira can't watch it happen inside the vehicle. Tira forced herself up. Her injured arm trembled. Her face hurt from the slap, but her spirit suddenly burned. She couldn't watch Mark die for her. She couldn't let Lily lose her father, like she lost her child. "Tira, stay inside," one alien ordered, but she pushed past him and jumped out of the vehicle. She stumbled forward and stood between Mark and the weapon. Her arms spread wide. Her voice shook but stayed strong. "If you want to punish someone, punish me." I ran. I disobeyed. "Leave the human and the child out of this." The lead alien glared at her. "You think you can tell us what to do? You forget your place." Tira lifted her chin slightly. "I know my place. And it is not behind your chains anymore." The aliens froze. Something in Tira's voice, something new, something powerful made even them hesitate. Mark whispered, stunned, "Tira, you don't have to protect me." She shook her head. "You protected me first." The colony respawned suddenly. Lights turned on in nearby homes. Doors opened. Other humans, neighbors, stepped out slowly, watching the scene. A few whispered, "Is that the escaped alien woman?" Others stared at the armed aliens angrily. Mark didn't notice. His eyes stayed locked on Tira. The lead alien growled, "Enough of this." He raised his weapon toward Mark again. Instantly, Tira jumped forward, blocking Mark with her own body. "Stop!" she shouted. "If you kill him, you will bring war to this colony." For the first time, the aliens looked unsure. Mark whispered, "Tira, how do you know that?" Her answer was quiet, but powerful. "Because the truth you do not know is that I am not just anyone. I am the last member of a royal bloodline. They are trying to erase." Mark's eyes widened. The aliens' faces twisted in anger and fear. Everything changed in that moment, and the real fight was about to begin. For a moment, the entire street went silent. Tira's words hung in the cold air like a shockwave. "I am the last member of a royal bloodline they are trying to erase." The aliens stiffened. Their confident smirks faded. Their weapons lowered. Slightly, not out of kindness, but out of fear. Mark stared at Tira in disbelief. "Royal? You?" Tira looked at him with tired eyes. "My clan once ruled a peaceful district of our world. We protected the weak. We stood against the cruel. Leaders, that is why they hunted us. That is why they killed my people, my parents, my siblings, my child." Her voice broke. But she continued bravely. I wasn't just a prisoner, Mark. I was a symbol they wanted to destroy. The lead alien hissed, Silence, raw filth. You were supposed to die with the rest. Tira flinched, but she didn't. Step back. Instead, she stood straighter, her frail body glowing with a strange kind of strength. Mark stepped beside her. You won't touch her again, the alien growled. Move or die. But suddenly, a loud alarm echoed across the colony. Spotlights turned on. Heavy footsteps approached. Several human colony guards appeared at the end of the street, armed with stun rifles and shields. They had been alerted by the neighbors who witnessed the scene. The lead guard shouted, Step away. Drop your weapons. The alien snarled in anger. This is not your business. She belongs to us. The guard replied coldly, No one belongs to anyone on this colony. And your actions violate our interspecies laws. Mark felt a wave of relief. Humans were no longer watching silently, they were stepping in. The lead alien tried to drag Tira again, but Mark grabbed his arm and pushed him away with trembling strength, fueled by rage. This ends tonight, Mark said. The alien raised his weapon to strike Mark, but before he could fire, Tira stepped forward and said the words that changed everything. You kill him, and every council in this sector will know you murdered a royal survivor. You will bring shame to your clan. You will bring punishment to your leaders. The aliens froze. They were cruel. They were powerful. But they were also cowards under higher authority. The guard captain stepped closer. Is she telling the truth? Tira nodded. My family seal is burned into my back. Check it if you dare. The aliens exchanged nervous glances. Their arrogance started to crack. The royal seal was sacred, even rival clans respected it. Harming a royal could bring entire fleets into conflict. For the first time, fear appeared in their eyes. The guard captain raised his voice. You are under arrest for kidnapping, torture, and violation of the colony protection code. The aliens tried to fight back, but the guards surrounded them quickly. They were disarmed, restrained, and dragged away screaming insults and threats that no one cared about anymore. Tira stood perfectly still, tears streaming down her cheeks. She was free. Truly free. Lily ran to her and hugged her waist tightly. You're safe now. You're safe. Tira fell to her knees and hugged the child back, sobbing into her hair. Mark approached slowly. Tira, it's over. They won't hurt you again. Tira looked up at him with trembling lips. You risked everything for me, a woman you barely know. Mark shook his head gently. You're not barely anything. You're kind, brave, and you didn't deserve any of what happened to you. Her eyes softened in a way Mark had never seen before. Your world, your people, you show more heart than I ever knew existed. The guard captain stepped forward. Tira, the council will offer you protection. You can stay in the colony, under human shelter and care. Tira looked at Lily, at Mark, at the warm home behind them. I know where I want to stay, she said softly. Lily cheered. With you, S. Tira smiled, and for the first time, it wasn't sad. It was full of hope. Mark extended his hand. If you want a home, ours is open. Tira took his hand with shaking fingers. I would be honored. The wind calmed. The night grew quiet. Again, a starving refugee had become a survivor. A hunted woman had become a protected guest. A broken mother had found a new family. And a human father had shown a courage that even royalty had never known. As they walked back into the house together, Lily whispered, We're your family now, right? Tira nodded, tears falling gently. Yes, little one, you are my family. And for the first time in years, she stepped into a home not as a prisoner, but as someone who finally belonged.